Hello, everyone. My name is Joseph Annunziata, and I'm part of Team Async. And I wanted to introduce our project, SignIt. SignIt is a sign language translation system built in Android Studio, utilizing machine learning software to analyze hand gestures. We have a number of items to cover on the agenda for this deliverable. First, I'll introduce our team and our distribution of roles for the project. Then I'll explain the problem statement and project description, and then I'll hand over the following items to the other members of our team. That includes a description of persona users, the theoretical users who would be utilizing our app for different purposes, an overview of a business analysis and monetization options, as well as an outline of the technology, tools, programming languages, and algorithms that will be used in our project. And then I'll return to explain the project schedule and timeline, give a brief summary of our teamwork agreement, and a brief overview of our retrospective session that we just completed. This is an overview of our team. I'm Joseph Annunziata, and I'm the Scrum Master and Machine Learning Engineer. Fariel Alam will be handling the UI development, and she is also a testing engineer. Renee Irias is a full stack developer and UI developer. And Shi Zhou is a backend developer and machine learning engineer as well. According to the World Health Organization, approximately 466 million people are deaf or hearing impaired. Of that 466 million, about 76 to 89% do not know sign language at all. This is clearly a big problem. It's a challenge for people to communicate clearly and experience life together with others. It can lead to loneliness, depression, marginalization, and ostracization within societies. Clearly, there's a need to develop some sort of application system, preferably a mobile application system, that would be readily available for people to communicate with people who are hearing impaired in terms of sign language. And it also would breach the gap between people who can hear and can read sign language as well, with people who are deaf or hearing impaired that utilize sign language to communicate. Our project is a mobile application that will be able to translate hand sign gestures into English in order to help the deaf community bridge the gap between those who cannot understand sign language and those who do. And now I'd like to turn it over to Fariel to discuss the persona user cases.
Hi, I'll be going over our personas with you. So the personas are basically there to provide you an overview about who our target audience is. So let's get started. So persona 1 is about Jane, who is learning to connect with her child. Jane is an attentive and compassionate mom, and she just adopted 12-year-old Alyssa. She's eager to overcome the specific communication challenges presented by Alyssa's deafness. Jane also works 2 jobs and she has no previous experience with sign language. That's why she's looking for a smartphone app that can help her and Alyssa connect. She's searching for a tool that can interpret Alyssa's sign language in real time, which will enable her to have a better understanding and communication with Alyssa's needs. Over time, Jane seeks to learn sign language through repetitive exposure of everyday interactions with her daughter. Now about persona 2. We have Simon. Simon is navigating the workplace. Simon is a 37-year-old project manager, and he is interested with integrating a new team member called Paul, who happens to be deaf. Now, Simon is looking for an effective solution that avoids the high expenses involved with employing temporary translators. He wants a mobile app that can translate sign language into English in real time, and the software would improve communication during video call conferences, and which will enable Simon and the other team members to interact directly and efficiently with Paul. The application must also be fast, it must be dependable, it must be capable of producing precise translations in order to guarantee smooth engagement and cooperation across the team. And finally, our persona 3 is about Jack. Jack is a 42-year-old teacher, and he is dedicated to creating an inclusive learning environment for all of his students, which includes those who are deaf or hard of hearing. Now, recognizing the need for a technology help to overcome the communication divide, Jack seeks an application that facilitates communications by immediately converting hand gestures into sign language, allowing for real-time engagement during presentations, group works, and just daily classroom activities and exchanges. This program would eliminate the need for lengthy transcriptions, allowing for direct and seamless communication. And with this technology, Jack hopes to guarantee that every student, regardless of hearing capacity, may completely engage and actively participate in the educational process. That would sum up our personas. Thank you.
Hi, hello everyone. My name is Rene Diaz, and I'm a full stack and UI developer. Today I'm going to talk about a little bit of business analysis of our app. In a world where communication is key, we are addressing the needs of the deaf community. The community size. According to the World Health Organization, approximately 466 million people worldwide have disabling hearing loss. Among them, many rely on sign language for communication. So who benefits from this app? Anyone with limited sign language knowledge, professionals, and education institutions seeking inclusive communication tools. A market trend. Increasing awareness and support for accessibility features in technology, as well as the growing popularity of smartphones, tablets, and computers. This indicates a ripe market for our application. And how are we going to spread the word? Through digital marketing, partnerships, and community engagement. Our competitive landscape is while there are educational apps for signing language learning, very focused on real-time translation and communication. Our app fills this gap by providing live analysis and translation capabilities. Next slide. And another topic that is very important is the monetization. We are going to offer a free model, which is basic features available for free. Our premium model features such as advanced translation algorithms, ad-free experience, and additional customization offered under our premium subscription. Partnerships. We will collaborate with educational institutions, businesses, or organizations for custom solutions or licensing agreements. Thank you.
So let's talk about technologies we're going to use in our project. So we're going to build a mobile application and Android application to be specific. So we're going to use Android Studio and Java to do the Android application development. And we choose MongoDB as our database. As for the backend and machine learning part, we're going to use TensorFlow and OpenCV with Python. TensorFlow is free and open source software library for machine learning and artificial intelligence. It can be used across a range of tasks, but has particular focus on training and inference of deep neural network. And OpenCV is another open source library for computer vision, machine learning, and image processing. And now it plays a major role in real-time operation, which is very important in today's system. So by using it, we can process images and videos to identify objects, faces. So in our case, it's gestures and sign languages of a human. So when it integrates with various libraries such as NumPy, Python is capable of processing the OpenCV array structure for analysis. And let's talk about the machine learning process. So first, we're going to collect our data. Of course, with more data, the more accurate the model will be. So we'll try to collect as much data as possible. Then we're going to process our data and create labels for each sign language action or movements. Then the most important part is to build and train LSTM model. It stands for long short-term memory. It is a improved version of recurrent neural network. So LSTM is well suited for sequence prediction tasks and excels in capture long-term dependencies. So LSTM strength lies in ability to grasp the order dependency crucial for solving complex problems such as machine translation and speech recognition. So in our case, is the gesture and the sign language recognition. And we're going to make sign language predictions and save the model weights. Ideally, we're going to do evaluation using confusion matrix. It is a performance evaluation tool in machine learning representing the accuracy of classification model. It displays number of true positive, true negative, false positive, and false negative. This matrix helps with the performance, identifying misclassification, and improving accuracies. Oh, if everything works fine, we should have a working model, then we can test in the real time.
Thank you, everyone. Now I just want to briefly touch on the project schedule and timeline. We will be using Jira for task management, so it's easier to follow throughout each sprint. So we have sprint 1, 2, 3, and 4. All the items in sprint 1 have been completed so far, and we will be moving on to sprint 2. I preemptively run a backlog timeline of all the tasks that need to be completed for each sprint. So we have a clear vision of what needs to be completed during that time period. I just want to give a brief overview of our teamwork agreement. Our team is using Discord primarily for direct communication between each other. I've created a Discord server in order to ease communication flow. You can use Discord as a mobile app or a desktop application as well. So it's very versatile in terms of how often you need to communicate with other members. And dragging and dropping files for file sharing is very simple as well. Regarding work division, we've agreed as a team to divide the project into equal parts. Everybody is focusing on 1 to 2 particular types of roles. Specifically in regards to the programming, as there's some material that we haven't covered in our classes as of yet, or our experiences. We've agreed to also help each other out and assist each other in any way possible if somebody becomes stuck. We will utilize tutorials in order to help us understand and guide each other through different difficulties in the programming process of this app as well. In terms of meeting, we have scheduled meetings every Monday and Friday, although this is changing due to our retrospective. In order to ensure that we come to an agreement on what needs to be done for the beginning of the week. And on Fridays, we can discuss everything that we committed to do and plan for the following week. We agreed to respect each other's free time as well, and to have Discord as a communication up until a certain time of night, typically, by 9 o'clock at night, unless there's unforeseen circumstances with deliverables and project issues. I just wanted to give a brief overview of our retrospective session that we had completed on Friday. What went well? We actually had a lot of progress through the past 2.5 weeks of the project. We've discovered that we had really good communication through Discord between all team members. All team members have been participating pretty much daily through Discord, which is a really good sign. Role distribution and collaboration amongst the team. we've been able to distribute roles properly and evenly based off of everybody's comfort level and skill regarding certain softwares and programming tools, and assisting other team members with setting up tools and processes. We've been very proactive in making sure that if anybody runs into an issue, you can just ask somebody else in the group to try to help. And we're all taking a role in assisting each other with this project. We've also accomplished all required tasks before the deadline and gave us very ample time to review the slides, the deliverable process, and any other documentation that was needed for this deliverable. And we were able to get a head start in the front end of the app development that was designated for Sprint 2. So that was a very good show of progress for our team during this sprint. Moving on to what can be improved. Our main problem for this sprint was scheduling consistent weekly meeting times without rescheduling them. Several of us had different scheduling issues that came up during the assigned meeting times, and we had a brief discussion about changing the times as well, depending on everybody's schedules. And we wanted to also improve upon our time management involving researching and learning about the new programming languages that we may not be familiar with, and how to utilize those tools. How to improve. Regarding the scheduling, we will be looking ahead for previously planned trips or events before committing to scheduled meeting times. Since we've been looking at those plans for this past week, we've determined that Tuesdays are better than Mondays for the beginnings of our weekly meetings. We also want to spend more time and effort into learning different types of application development skills and spending more time assisting other teammates if they are not knowledgeable in certain fields. And that may involve doing tutorials if we ourselves are not familiar with those certain aspects of the project. And finally, we wanted to also align more properly with the agile lesson structure of the course lectures and align our workflow for this project accordingly. And finally, this is our group wiki page. And thank you for listening and watching our presentation.